This is The Scoop for Tuesday.
I'm Megan Bowman with the WMNF News headlines. Vice President Kamala Harris has secured enough Democratic delegates to become the party's presidential nominee. Harris said in a press release she's proud to have secured the support needed and that her home state of California helped put her campaign over the top. She says over the next few months, she'll travel across the country to talk to Americans about everything that's on the line for this election. Her first stop is today in Milwaukee. And Florida Democratic leaders are also getting behind the VP to show their support. WMNF's Chris Young reports as of yesterday, 236 Florida delegates and counting have already pledged their support.
After Biden announced Sunday that he would not seek re-election, he almost immediately threw his support behind Harris. And elected officials in the state joined Florida Democratic Party Chair Nikki Fried to voice their support for the VP as well. Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz got emotional while talking about it.
I'm extremely excited to support Vice President Harris, one of the most accomplished, experienced candidates of unrivaled integrity that we have ever run for this great office.
State House Minority Leader Fentress Driscoll says she hopes the Harris nomination will help other causes, like the amendment to protect abortion on November's ballot.
We need someone at the top of the ticket who can be a trusted voice on this issue. And we know that Vice President Harris has been that. She's been that for the entire country.
The party released a letter endorsing the vice president as the Democratic presidential nominee, which received over 200 signatures. Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna says she expected this.
Yeah, I actually said that this was going to happen about 5 months ago, and everyone laughed at me and said I was crazy, and guess who's right?
Luna says despite the outpouring of support for Harris, she believes former President Donald Trump will win in November. Luna is also calling for Biden to resign from the presidency. Chris Young, WMNF News.
A local group is spreading awareness for gun violence victim resources. The Sean's Love Project was founded by Deandra Todd after her son, Sean, became a victim of gun violence. Todd, with the help of other groups, held a community event at University Park on Saturday to highlight the importance of gun violence prevention and victim support networks. Johnny Johnson, co-president of Rise Up for Peace, says events like these help give victims the support they need.
Well, initially it wasn't anything in place for a family that lost their loved one. So by building these bridges and collaborating with these different organizations and bringing everyone together, that gives the victims and the victims' family that reassurance that they have someone to turn to when it wasn't nothing at all.
And while gun violence is a national problem, Todd says to create change, more local communities need to stand together and make their voices heard by those in power. In Hillsborough County, more than 80 people were killed in gun-related homicides in 2022, and that number has continued to climb since 2018. U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle faced intense questioning yesterday from Congress over Trump's assassination attempt. And as WMNF's Chris Young reports, now one Republican Florida congresswoman is calling for charges of inherent contempt and perjury against the director.
Cheadle called the incident at a Trump rally earlier this month a failure.
The assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades.
Members of the U.S. House Oversight Committee questioned Cheadle, including Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, who represents most of Pinellas County. She says Cheadle refused to answer some questions, and the director claimed no knowledge of suspicions about the shooter in a group text chain between law enforcement.
I think that she perjured herself, and I told her that, and I requested a full transcript review and for her to be brought up on perjury charges.
During the hearing, Cheadle did acknowledge the agency was informed of a suspicious person between 2 and 5 times before the assassination attempt of the former president. In addition, Luna says the director was, quote, terrible during the hearing.
Actually, there's been multiple calls bipartisan for her to resign. And as a result of that, I think to expedite her resignation, I'm thinking about bringing an inherent contempt vote to the floor.
This would be Luna's second attempt at bringing a similar vote to the U.S. House floor this month. Chris Young, WMNF News.
Florida Department of Health data shows more than 3,000 deaths in the state have been linked to COVID-19, with the year a little over halfway finished. This year's pace of deaths is lower than the past 4. The pandemic hit the state in 2020, and that year's state data showed Florida had over 23,000 deaths. I'm Megan Bowman with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.